So it's as of today that I've developed about 5 software projects, 4 or 5, depending on which ones you want to count. And I haven't really completed any of them except for one. Rest of them I literally abandoned. Each and every single one. I got to some point of developing and I said, you know what? I don't want to develop this and I'm gonna continue with a new idea. And there's something to know about this process that like you should know before developing an app, or if you are actually already developing an app as like self-taught on the side, nobody's telling you to do it, you're just kind of choosing to do it yourself. And the first very important thing to know is that you must choose the optimal sort of foundation, or in other words, the tech stack. What's best and what's most optimal for you. And the reason for this is because, at least for me, when I tried to switch domains, right? When I tried to like go for C sharp, having only known Python, or like not really only known it, but being very accustomed to it and liking the language because it's related to like machine learning, it's related to data science and all these things that more interest me more. Then trying to pivot to something like C sharp makes it very uninteresting, and kind of you have to learn something very new when you already are accustomed to something else, right? And in that sense, you kind of have to choose your strength. If you don't already know a language, then just like choose one which has your interests, right? So mine was Python because there's AI, machine learning, data science, like that's backend, that's kind of what Python is really about. And then you can choose your own, whatever it might be, and then go with that as well. And the benefit of that is that as you develop, really the main aim in your first kind of apps that you're building is to learn. Like you won't really like this, but if you are just about starting, maybe you have only one project that you've ever done, like as a side app, like whatever, then you're kind of going to realize that you're not actually going to build something very successful, in the sense that it's not going to be a functional, practical app, whether it solves your problem or solves whatever, does whatever. The purpose is to just learn that foundation. So like for me, it was to learn Python in my very first project. I managed to like use tutorials, use AI, use the documentations of different libraries and things like that, of the language itself, to kind of get forward in learning, right? And I did, of course, I didn't realize that before. I kind of thought, yeah, I'm going to like make an app and this is going to be very amazing. But in the end, I abandoned it. And now if I look back, I realize, okay, the main benefit was that I learned a lot from that experience. And you will have to realize as well that as you go through the project, you will learn a lot of things about how to develop this, how to develop that, how to use this language, this library, etc. And so that's a very big thing to remember, is that you're really learning, and so you should choose a foundation and build upon that. The next thing is that you should only use like one to 2 months, right? At least I suggest that, because in my projects, what has happened is that I have developed them and kind of continued developing them for eternity. So I would say, okay, I would start a project in February, and I would say, okay, I want to complete it by March, end of March. March would come, I wouldn't complete it. April would come. I said, okay, 30th of April, I'm releasing it. Like, I'm not releasing, but I'm finalizing it, and there we go. And it would come, and it didn't, like, I didn't finish it. And then May would come, and then June would come, and like, it continues on, right? And the reason for this is because, I mean, I had a lack of experience, and so I would kind of just deviate to like CSS and stylization, and that's a very big mistake that many can make, and that you might make, is that just deviating to something that matters less, right? So stylization when you really should be building the functionality first, but you know. And so what you should do is just give yourself 1 to 2 months, right? To just sit down and develop 1 to 2 months, because probably you have other things to do in your life, maybe school, university, whatever. And so you just give yourself this time. You put like a deadline. Okay, this one I'm actually just going to complete it, no matter how ugly it looks or whatever. And then you set like a timeline, right? Okay, I'm going to complete this backend here. I'm going to complete this. And along the way, of course, relating to the previous point, you're going to learn how to implement those ideas that you have. If you want to implement, I don't know, some login feature or whatever, you're going to have to look that up, and then you're going to understand how that works. And so when you set a plan, accelerates the progress that you go at because you know that you have to stick to it. And so long as you can hold yourself accountable to it and you don't have to like delay, like, don't delay more than a week because otherwise it's going to create problems. At least I wouldn't. I'm not going to like say that I know everything, but if you're a new developer, you're definitely going to learn quicker if you like just compress the time and you're like, wow, this was great. I had 2 months to build an app. It's probably not the best in the world, but at least I have a lot of advantage and initiative in the sense that now I've developed a better understanding, which is what's necessary as well, because you might actually find yourself abandoning it if you don't kind of stick to it. At least I have multiple times. I've tried to develop an AI project, it kind of failed. Tried to develop a website, like that was kind of like a social media project. It also failed. Not in the sense that it failed because of some monumental failure, but I just wanted to switch away from it. And so if you compress the time period, you'll likely do way better. But that one software project I mentioned that I actually completed till the end is called Stellar AI. And it's an AI tool that I designed for self-taught coders, and it helps with developing an app from start to finish and actually making that strict timeline, where afterwards you come out with a polished, finalized app and a lot of coding experience. If you want to go try it out, you can sign up right now. Link is in the description. Thank you.